action up in double time. James analyzing every line. Paul's out of sync, but they don't care. Three minds tangled, but they're always there.
Hello and welcome to Seismic Cinema. I'm James. I played written an essay on it. Paul has watched it in the wrong order, and Colin,
I've probably not seen it.
how you doing, mate? How's things? It's been like ages since I've seen you.
I know. Hopefully this is us starting to get into the bit of a rhythm again on our Saturday morning recordings.
Aye, just scheduling just now is absolutely mental. But you know what it's like. So
Busy times will come and go, but Seismic Cinema will stand the test of time.
what year's hoping?
Coming up for its 4th year now.
Aye, obviously I've been here for the 4 years, but it's been quite a journey since I've got onto it. So aye. So a wee bit of housekeeping before we get started. So you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, and the Facebook pages. You can watch and listen to us on YouTube and Spotify. We're available on Spotify for creators, Good Pods, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Amazon Music, Castbox, Podbean, loads of others out there. So go and listen to us or watch us on YouTube or Spotify. We are sitting at 202 subscribers on YouTube now, Colin. So we are 23 more away from the milestone of 225. So
to be fair, we've not had as many episodes in the last few weeks, so I think that would be a wee bit higher.
Nah, I know, and it's that's our fault at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So we want to get back to it. So we've broken the 200 mark. That's what we asked for, and just getting to 225 before Christmas, I reckon.
I think we can get there.
Aye, slow and steady wins the race, mate. We're all part of the Podpack Collective. You can go and check them out on various platforms. The one that I use is Twitter. You can search the link tree and check out all the amazing podders there. And a wee shout out to friends of the podcast. What's the script? Their last episode was just out actually yesterday and was Deja Vu, which is an amazing film. Have you seen that film, Colin?
I wish I could say I had deja vu with that statement, but no, I haven't. My issue, and I apologise to the boys, I would watch more of your episodes, but as you know, there's lots of films I've not seen, so I would have to watch the movie and then watch the review, or I wouldn't have a clue what's going on.
I'm in regular contact with the guys, all things Rangers, you can imagine, the angry tones coming from each side of it, especially me. But I
imagine.
So I go and check them out. What's the script? You'll get them on Spotify, you'll get them on YouTube. Good Glasgow boys, good film, knowledge and funny into the bargain too. A lot funnier than me. Anyway, that goes without saying.
Impossible.
Well, right, mate. So, what have you been watching since the last time that I spoke to you or seen you even?
I'm still having a wee bit of a struggle. You know how I get really into TV shows, like when I get hooked, I get hooked.
Aye.
Still struggling a wee bit. I was watching Severance, and I'm intrigued enough by the show to stick at it, but I don't think you've watched it.
No, I've seen it, mate.
It's quite slow. I think it will be, and I've heard it's worth the investment. So I'm got back into it. I took a wee break, but I'll maybe keep going with that. I also, just for something a bit more lighthearted, because Severance is quite heavy, started watching Peacemaker. Don't know if you've watched any of that.
No,
Are you familiar with it, DC?
No.
It's John Cena. On to the 4th episode of that. It's more of just a wacky ride.
How do you know it's him? It's in it?
We're doing.
Well, we usually can't see him, can we?
Yes. I think I'm missing a John Cena joke there.
Well, John Cena's a professional wrestler, you know that, don't you?
I know that, yeah.
And his gimmick is "You can't see me."
Right.
You can't see me. So
see if I was into wrestling, I probably would have got that reference.
It's always funny when you have to explain the joke, Colin. You know what I mean? But there we go. Other folk will get it.
I know that too well. So I've kind of been watching bits of Peacemaker and bits of Severance. I'm still waiting on just that hook. Remember when I watched From and I was just really, really into it? And when I watched The Good Place and Shrinking, that small show, there was... I got really, really, really into them, but I'm sure it'll come. Sometimes it's just about where you're at in your life and your own mindset in terms of your connections with shows. I did watch a wee movie last weekend. You've maybe seen it pop up on Netflix, The Thursday Murder Club.
I've seen it on Netflix. Come on.
Yeah.
It's by the book into Richard
Yeah.
Osman.
So I've read that book, so I was quite interested to watch it, and I quite enjoyed it. I wasn't quite sure about like Pierce Brosnan as Ron at first when I first saw the casting, but as I got into the film, it's a pretty good cast. It's got like David Tennant, and it's got
Ben Kingsley's in it as well.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley, that's right, and Tom Ellis that plays Lucifer, and so it's quite a good cast. It's just a wee kind of cozy murder mystery, worth a watch, but may not be your cup of tea, but never know.
Right, well, I know you like a wee murder mystery, mate.
Yeah, a wee cup of tea, yeah.
Well, I might get a watch, mate, and see what happens. It's a film or a series?
I originally thought it was going to be a series, but it is actually just a film. There's like at least 4 books in the series, so I reckon they'll maybe just do them as 4 movies.
Oh, I feel it does. Aye,
it's basically about four like pensioners living in a kind of gated community, and then they have like a wee club where they solve cold cases, but then real live cases start to happen and they investigate them. It's just that kind of scenario.
Well, kind of similar to the, not similar, but a wee bit like it, I suppose. What do you call it? The Only Murders in the Building type thing. Is it kind of like that?
Yeah, a wee bit. Yeah, I like that. Particularly the first season, I thought was really good. I thought it went downhill a bit after that, but
I stopped watching it after the first season, mate, to be honest with you. I
liked the first season. I thought the first season was really good, but it became a wee bit repetitive, I think, thereafter. But
for me, mate, very, very light on the watching things. I watched also Plaything for the podcast. I watched it twice, mate, just because we delayed the pod, and then I thought I'll get another bash and watch it.
I would have had time to watch it twice, but see, because we kept rescheduling it, I kept just like, right, we're not doing it, so I'll just watch it the next week, and I just kept following that procedure, so I have only watched it once.
No, fair dues, mate. And then I'm up to date in Dexter. Well, I'm not really up to date as we sit here just now on a Saturday morning. The new episode is on. I might go and catch that later on the day, mate. It's good. I know you've always seen Dexter. You might have seen the first couple of episodes of the first season. I remember you saying a while back.
I feel it calling to me. I think I do want to get invested in it.
It's actually good, mate, because like there's I don't know how many seasons of Dexter now in the initial run, right? But it did that. It ended up brought it back for the New Blood. But this one feels a lot like Dexter, the original. Do you know what I mean? It's a few of the original cast in it as well. It just seems more.
Is this a prequel?
No. This is.
Is this a sequel? But was the other one a prequel?
No, the other one. So this is it gets quite confusing. So there was Dexter. There was Dexter New Blood, which was a sequel of that. There was then Dexter Original Sin, which was a prequel of Dexter, which has now been cancelled, by the way. So that was cancelled after the first season, probably because of how good and the ratings are with the new one called Resurrection, which is a continuation of the originals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they must have went, you know what, they're getting good views here. We're going to invest the money into that rather than go back to the Original Sin, which is a shame, mate, because I actually quite enjoyed the Original Sin series. I wasn't that bored with it. It wasn't bad at all. I enjoyed it. So anyway, so we finished that soon. I was misguided. I was led to believe that the Expedition Bigfoot new series was coming out. It should be out by now, but it was fake news, mate. So I'm having to twiddle my thumbs, wait for that.
You should do your own fan fiction.
I need to go onto Twitter and message the guy. What's happening? Mate?
Hurry up.
I did that last time with Dan from Casting News and he didn't get back to us. Amazing.
Oh, I don't know if I'll manage, but I'd quite like to go see the new Conjuring film in the cinema.
What series is that? Like what episode? Right, must be like 13 or 14 of them now.
Don't know. I just saw it was coming out and enjoyed the review we did of the first one. So,
Oh, aye. Yeah, by the way, what's that like? By the way, those reviews, those views of the Ring and Police Academy. What,
I
3,000?
know.
Man, it's brilliant.
I don't know who these Police Academy fans are on YouTube, but keep it coming. You're keeping the lights on.
Aye, thank you for those who are tuning in at Wayland. I'll go back and listen to them to see what I done.
You should also check out the more recent episodes as well.
Okay, I haven't just scroll past the recent ones. Come on.
It must just be coming up as like a suggested video for people who like Police Academy and The Ring.
Aye.
The Ring was great though, to be fair.
That was good. Right, anyway, enough of that. So we are here to discuss the episode 4 of season 7 of Black Mirror, which is called Plaything. So the synopsis of this episode is: in a near future London, an eccentric murder suspect is linked to an unusual video game from the 1990s, a game populated by cute, evolving artificial life forms. It was released on the 10th of April, 2025, along with the other ones. It was written by Charlie Brooker. It was directed by David Slade, who actually directed a few other things, including 30 Days of Night, Hard Candy, Twilight, Eclipse, which I'm sure you'll be surprised that I've not seen that film. But he also, interestingly, done 2 other Black Mirror episodes, one of which was Metalhead, and the other being Bandersnatch. It stars Peter Capaldi as old Cameron, Lewis Gribben as younger Cameron, James Nelson Joyce as Kano, Michelle Austin as Minter, Azim Chowdhury as Mohammed Takur, and Will Poulter as Colin Rickman.
I find it so weird seeing Will Poulter because I always remember him from We're the Millers.
Yeah,
which is like his breakthrough role, and he just looks so different now, doesn't he?
Aye. I was actually really excited. I know we'll go into this, but when I seen, first of all, Peter Capaldi, I didn't watch any trailers for Black Mirror Season 7, right? So I didn't know who was going to appear in it. So I'm watching it as I go in. And to see Peter Capaldi there, I was like, yeah, dancer, it's the Doctor. Do you know what I mean? He's the Doctor. And it took me a wee second to recognise it's him.
Yeah.
In the accent. I heard the accent even. And then when I seen Will Poulter as Rickman and the whole Bandersnatch thing, I was like, yes. Because that episode was brilliant, man. Did you see that episode?
What, Bandersnatch?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Ages ago, though, I've not watched it in a while.
I think it's actually been taken away.
It's the interactive movie one, isn't it?
Aye. I think it's been taken away, mate.
You forgot one character. I was trying to see because I wrote down the main characters just to remind me, and I thought we'd write down the same ones, but I also put Josh Finnan, who plays Lump, because he's quite an important character.
I forgot Lump, aye.
Well.
So, I forgot Lump. Thank you for that, mate.
No, I just wanted to see if we'd picked out the same people, because it's not always the top ones on the list. Sometimes you get ones further down that are quite important as well.
Aye.
Because it normally does it in order of appearance, doesn't it? Quite often.
Well, I'll just get it for IMDb, mate, so I'll just go right there.
Yeah.
So it must be, I don't know. Anyway, mate, just before I go into this, mate, I don't know if you noticed this or no, right, but I was interested in the James Nelson Joyce who plays Kano, right? So I was like, this guy's name's Kano, man. That's from Mortal Kombat. So I wondered if that was a reference to the Mortal Kombat games, which I'm sure it is, because the whole thing's about gaming.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's quite a lot of game references in Black Mirror, isn't there, between Playtest and Bandersnatch and Striking Vipers was the other one as well.
No, we've got a few kind of.
And I suppose USS Callister's a game as well. Yeah.
Well, in Bandersnatch Studios, they've got or Turkersoft is what it's called. Sorry, is they've got the Space Fleet poster and they've got the Vipers poster too.
The other thing I thought was, I generally didn't know this. You know the gaming shops, CEX.
Aye.
I did not know that Charlie Brooker was one of the founders of that shop.
Oh, was he? I know, like, because I did research on this. So Charlie Brooker basically worked for PC Zone or something similar to that.
So the computer exchange is what they call it in this episode, but that's like basically what CEX is, and he was one of the 5 like founding members of the company, which is cool because that's a company I've bought from and didn't realize the connection.
Aye, that's good. So when I heard that guy's name's Kano, I thought, well, I wonder if the other person in the interview room, Michelle Austin, who plays Minter. So I did a wee bit of research on this. So she's named after Jeff Minter, who founded Lamasoft in 1982, which is an indie games company. So it has a reference to that. And furthermore, is that Cam's appearance, Peter Capaldi, he looks like the guy called Jeff Minter. So there's a kind of similarity on how his appearance looked like Jeff Minter. So all interesting.
He's you'll be glad this one fell to you. A lot of computing references in here.
Well, I'm going to go through a few of them when we get to them. So it's quite good. So so we'll kind of start off with, because this is like this. I should say this is only 45 minutes long, so it's one of the shorter ones actually. People might be glad to hear that, but I'm sure we could wrap it on for 90 minutes, an hour and a half, double that. But we'll try not to. So it starts off then in a kind of derelict kind of looking place. Turns out it's London, and you see this guy with headphones on. It's quite noisy. We kind of hear background noise. He kind of walks through. You can see there's homeless people to his left and kind of further on. And he walks into a shop. And then in that shop, we've got it's like a confectionery shop that sells all sorts of things, booze and whatever. But Peter Capaldi walks into the shop. He automatically goes in to buy, or not to buy, to steal whatever it is, vodka, whiskey, I don't even know, but he obviously, this is what his plan was. He goes to steal it, he gets locked in, the police come, and he waits to the police. So it almost looks like that was intentional. He was very calm about it all. He wasn't arguing and anything back. It was premeditated, I thought.
Well, you obviously find out later on that it was. So
we do find that out, of course. But even then, you're going, that's just. I mean, he was very kind of forthcoming with it all. Do you know what I mean? So,
it's a proper cold opening, isn't it? It just goes right into him robbing the store.
Aye, and what I found interesting as well, we see it from 2 angles. We see it from the as if we'd be in the shop, but then we see it from a CCTV point of view. And I noticed that the actual date said 2034 on it, so I was like, "All right, that's in the future." When the police come in and they say, "All right," and they say something about the bylaws. I can't remember the exact term now. They said the bylaw 2029. They give like a biometrics to find out who he is, and it turns out that he's wanted for murder. And then that's where they go, "Oh, Jesus Christ, like, we take you in?" And again, he just goes like, "No bother, just cuff me and take me in." What was your kind of whole thoughts? You said it was cold and stuff, but what was your kind of interpretation of the first kind of scene?
It's quite interesting that they were referencing these new laws regarding identification, but they also mentioned, which fits with what we find out later, that he'd never been arrested before, because I think one of the coppers commented that he'd been a good boy up till now, but obviously that was planned because he intentionally stayed off the radar, so that he wasn't like disturbed in his plans and things like that. But it was also interesting, as you said, you see the CCTV footage, but to me, I felt that was a wee bit of foreshadowing, because it was maybe like the view from the chip inserted in his head from the game that was viewing that. That's how I viewed it, rightly or wrongly. I didn't think that until you find out what happens further down the line, but I thought it was maybe the code, or what were the wee animals called again?
Thronglets.
No. Also, and this keeps happening. We don't do this on purpose, but it does remind me of the Truman Show when you see the camera angles from all the different locations, the hidden cameras.
Aye, that's true. We don't do it on purpose, so
We don't. I just thought it was organic, you know.
just the way it should be. Aye, so that's interesting, mate. I mean, as he's obviously, we find out it's the year 2024. He basically gets taught. He gets put into an interrogation room. He's kind of like dragged through. Well, I say like dragged through, but he's taken through. And all this way, he's asking for a pen and paper. All I'm looking for is a pen and paper. I don't want to put on a Scottish accent because, well, I'm Scottish, but Peter Capaldi's a different type of Scottish, I'd say. But he's continuing to ask for a pen and paper, like, and he's being refused. He's like, no, you can't get a pen and paper. He's like, oh, I get stressed and I want to draw. So right away, he's just wants this pen and paper so he can just show to the camera. I know we were kind of jumping my head here a wee bit, but he doesn't want to go through all this rigmarole of talking about the past. He just wants to get into the police station to do what he needs to do, and that's it, done. But obviously, like through health and safety, you can't get a pen and paper because as the guy walks past Peter Capaldi, Cameron, he's like, that's why you can't get a pen and paper because the people in this place are absolutely crazy. And he's obviously been like risk assessed as well because of his health and well-being, you know what I mean, like his mental health and things, because just his appearance and the way he talks. And that's why we've got the psychologist in at the same time.
There was a funny line where because he's quite humorous, isn't he, when he's in the interrogation room? He's like basically asking them what their roles are, and when they mention psychological evaluation, he's like, mine or his, about Kano.
I know. And then the psychologist, Minter, she did kind of smirk a wee bit to say, that was quite witty.
It's a good cop, bad cop. She was a lot more strategic, I think, and that she wanted to play to him a bit so that they could get what they wanted, whereas Kano was just on a rager the whole episode, wasn't he, and just had no patience.
Well, his acting was horrendous, by the way. I don't know what he thought about him, but his acting and the way he spoke, and I don't understand why, like that, but this good cop, bad cop thing kind of represented what the life of humanity is. Like, we're going to meet Rickman later on. He does say that there's different types of humanity. There's the worst kind and the best kind, or maybe the weakest kind, maybe. And that representation happened in that interrogation room because he was very, very aggressive in his manner. He only had one goal. He wasn't wanting for listening to the guy. He just wanted to know whose body it was, to ID the body. Whereas the psychologist was more kind of weaker and he could exploit that weakness. And that's showing the Thronglets, the good and the bad. And they want to kind of make humanity better by meeting in the middle. That was my interpretation of that.
That quote that I mentioned is actually quite ironic because not just through the way he speaks, there's obviously something else that happens towards the end of the episode. I think he actually could have done my psychological evaluation and probably shouldn't have been in that job.
No, I know. I did like when I asked him who, like, I know your role, your detective inspector thingy, my Bobby, and you are. So he was obviously having a bit. He was very kind of, he was joking along with him and whatever, and just kind of get a good for him just to kind of make the audience get on his side, really, because that was quite funny. Do you know what I mean? Even though he already introduced themselves.
He's very relaxed throughout the whole process, Cameron, I would say.
Obviously, he's just biding his time. You know what I mean? Just biding his time. And this Kano detective, he just kind of obviously wants to know exactly what happened and what his name is. And, Cameron is also just telling the truth at the same time. He doesn't know, the guy's name. He just knows. And he says that this guy Lump exploited a weakness in Cameron and used him, again, showing the bad traits of a human. You know what I mean? So anyway, we'll get to that bit. So he's arrested and he's being grilled on this body that was found in a suitcase, and basically, it's like Cameron kind of takes over the interview because he's like, "Oh, do you want to know about my past?" Talks about his mother, talks about his father, and then talks about his childhood. He was bullied. He was bullied, but he never fought back or anything like that because how would that would appear? Because it would be like his father doesn't want to emulate that. So it was kind of getting deeper in that way. Like he was just kind of like a sponge that was just taking all this verbal and physical abuse, whatever bullying that came his way.
And I think it does. I think it does endear him to you, despite some of his actions in the past and in the future. I think in that moment you do feel that bit of sympathy for him because of his upbringing.
Aye. So we get like as the kind of goes on in that interrogation room, we do delve into his past, and it just cuts back from this room. There's no windows. It's very I don't know, confined, claustrophobic. I say this room. Whereas we get to the flashback of the 1990s, it's like his job. It's very kind of very 90s. It's like kind of glamorous to the whole gaming industry and whatever. So Cameron's job is basically he's a writer for the PC magazine, PC Zone magazine, who he basically tests games and reviews them. That's his job. And throughout this kind of, he's in a room with again other kind of, I would say, other writers who are maybe charismatic, but that all kind of doesn't really reflect him because Cameron, when you look at Cameron in the past, he's very introverted. He's not very outgoing. He's very in himself, unsure of himself. And we get that encounter with Colin later on to say that he is socially awkward. I mean, he's just, he's like I don't know, some people, I would say, quote unquote nerd would be an introvert. You know what I mean? That they don't like to socialise with different people. And he just, I think, probably represented that at that point.
I thought the actor who played young Cameron did a good job as well.
Yeah, he did. So his name is, if I get it back again, it is Lewis Gribbon. So I haven't seen him in anything, but he was in Trainspotting 2. Can't remember. I've seen it ages ago. Can't remember, but he's not been in many things.
He shows that kind of descent into madness really well, I thought.
Aye, absolutely, man. So we get a wee kind of flash of his job, what he does, but then we get the editor guy, the guy's in charge. He goes to Cameron and says, "You won't believe it. You've got a meeting with Colin Whitman." Now I knew right away who he was, and for folk who haven't seen Bandersnatch, they might not know who he is because obviously it's a flashback to that kind of standalone episode, the interactive one. Now, for those who don't know what Bandersnatch is, it's a different type of episode where we got to interact. So we would see the episode play out, and maybe at certain stages in the actual episode, you were given 3 choices on what the character did. And based on that choice you made, it would then change the algorithm to then eventually come out with a different outcome of the episode. So it did involve a wee bit of interaction. So I was that sad when I did it. I did every
You did every option, yeah. I have seen Bandersnatch, but I didn't catch the name right away. It's been years since I watched Bandersnatch, to be fair. So
aye. So you're going to meet Colin. He's the guy who made Bandersnatch. He wants to review his latest game, and he asked for him specifically. So he's all right, okay, no worries, and you can see he's quite nervous about it all. So he gets to Turkersoft. We see the guy from Click and Collect film who's in Bandersnatch as well. He's the manager. I can't remember his name now. I need to go back to the top. But he refers to himself as a god, as a joke.
I remember that guy. This was also an opportunity for me to use my real name as my screen name, but still be relevant.
Yeah, I did notice that. I was going to say Colin Whitman, but I thought you would do that. So he meets. So it's he's at the Tuckersoft. You can see, and this is where we see the Easter eggs of all the kind of the games from before. You know, Striking Vipers. We've got Space Fleet. We've got Bandersnatch 2. And one I didn't see, actually, seeing the store at the start where he got arrested, there was a poster of Ditta project products as well on the wall. So
Right.
that links back to the episode with the Empress of the Universe.
Betty Noir.
Yes, Bet Noir. Yes, indeed. So we get to meet Colin. He's very suave. Like he knows, like he's deemed as this kind of computer genius. His games are the best, right? He's got the GTAs, you want to call it that, right? So he's very kind of thought of. He's got his enemy room, whereas the others are just in the main room, kind of beside each other in their wee kind of cubicles. He's got his own office. He's got the windows and all that sort of thing. So he's very thought of. He goes in. His manner and how he speaks to him as well is quite interesting, because like, oh, he don't take a few. He's very kind of, I don't know. And he looks at Colin. So he looks at Cameron as well, and he goes, "You're not how I thought. When you write reviews for games, you're very eloquent and all that sort of thing. But in real life, you're I think the word he uses is strident. You're very strident, and then you look at you lack confidence and things like that. You're definitely not as outgoing as I thought you were."
I think again that's showing the different sides of humanity that was referenced later.
Yes. But yeah, again, Colin had his flaws as well, as we later find out. Whether that was on purpose or not, we can discuss that. But he shows him this game, quote unquote, because it's not a game, right? He says it's not a game. But I want to ask you a question. Colin Whitman asked Cameron, "What was the purpose of a game?" What would your answer be to that? What's the point of a computer game?
Well, I don't think there's one singular point. I think
What comes to mind? What's the first word that comes to mind?
I don't want to quote our former. Well, it was mentioned in the episode. It's also Seismic Cinna's former name of escapism, but I also think enjoyment comes to mind.
Enjoyment.
I think competition. I think playing it and cooperation. I think playing it against and with friends is a big part of gaming as well. And choice in terms of your outcomes and your RPGs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, we asked that question, I thought, to win. That was a computer game is to win, right? So, he said escapism, just no, and then eventually goes conflict. It's about conflict, which is actually probably true, isn't it? Because even where if I'm playing FIFA, it's conflict. You get one team against another team, who wins. So at any point, there's got to be conflict in the game, and he presents this to him. So he presents this game called Thronglets, and it's basically like a virtual pet game. So it's right away. I was like, it looks like a bloody Tamagotchi, man. Do you remember them, Colin?
Yeah, my mum laughs about it even now. She said she used to have to feed them when we were at school. I had a wee like round orange one, but this is I can fit my Star Wars reference in. I had an R2D2 one, right?
Right.
But instead of feeding them, you had to oil them. Which is pretty cool. But yeah, Tamagotchis. They still sell them. I've seen them in the supermarket and stuff in the kids section.
That kind of sounds wrong. I had to oil it. Okay, anyway. So
he's a droid.
I know. So Tamagotchi kind of thing. It looked like kind of Lemmings as well, if you've ever played that game.
I think it was likened to Sims as well in certain ways.
There's actually a Sims sticker as well at one point that I'm going to up to. But you can see that you can bath them and all that sort of thing, and so it's just kind of watch them grow. And Cameron's like, "How do I control them?" And he's like, "Why do you want to control them?" He's like, "Why? This is a way of life." And I did like this quote. He said, "It's not some obscene puppet from like Sonic the Hedgehog."
Yeah,
that was good.
So it's essentially AI then, isn't it? In a lot of ways, because like they were created, but they're becoming like self-aware, kind of like the characters in Hotel Reverie as well.
Aye, it is like AI because he did say that these these thronglets that they're called will learn, remember, and adapt. He says those three words, and they speak a language. He goes, I didn't have to code that; they just did it. So that they are speaking or they're alive, and they can look looking directly at the out from the screen, the monitor. You know what I mean? So it's like they're trying to make contact, and they anything, they just need to have more memory as well. That's what he goes and does. He has to go and buy more hardware to make the thronglets thrive.
I think that's what makes Black Mirror so engaging, is that something like this is probably possible now, which is the scary part.
Hi. I did like this part of my computing reference in here, one of many, is he spoke about exponential growth as well. Like, so he spoke about, they'll hatch, it'll be 2, 4, 8, 16. So they're just, that's exponential growth, the way like bacteria is as well. Do you know what I mean? That it just grows so fast exponentially. And he said that would happen with the thronglets, which did happen. You could eventually see in the screen that you couldn't really see any because there was that many of them, but
apparently there's a QR code in the closing credits, and you can actually download it on the App Store.
All right, I didn't.
I'd be a bit scared to put that in my phone though, I think.
I didn't go into it. I just, if it finished and I just turned it off.
No, I didn't actually clock it. I just seen it in our usual IMDb trivia section.
So as he's kind of talking through this part, the wee egg timer goes, and he goes, "Oh, that's medication time," and it just went silent. And he goes, "For me, not for you," which I found was funny because obviously looking at him, you think he might need some kind of medication, but it was for him, and that was always planned because looking at it now, he made himself scarce from the room. And by the way, as he did you see the Waldo poster on the wall?
I didn't see it, but I'm aware that there was one.
Aye. So it gave him the opportunity to take the CD and take it. So that was what he wanted. And that was the last we see of Rittman.
Because they liken the bit of him taking the CD, but they mention that in reference to when he's stealing the booze as well, don't they?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. He comes back home and he puts the CD into the computer. That brought me back big time. So I remember doing that.
I miss disk drives on computers.
I remember
laptops at least.
The command screen having, even looking at the tower he had as well. I was like, that's just like what I had. I've actually got one. I actually brought one of my old desktop computers with a tower like that, with the floppy drive and all that, in my classroom, just so I can show when I do the systems unit what it looks like and all that, and what storage used to look like and things.
Actually, a quick wee computing question. See, games I had for like my old school PC back when I was a teenager, like Virtual Springfield was this amazing game where you could just go all over the Simpsons world. Is there any way I can work out a way to play those games, or are they just lost now because there's no disk drives? Or
no, you can get them from sources on the internet. Many of the emulators out there, you can go and get them.
There was some great games because there was another Simpsons one called Cartoon Studio, and you could make your own Simpsons cartoons with the characters and things like that. And I had Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer and things like that. There's some good games. There's
actually free emulator websites you can go to, and then you can plug in Bluetooth through a control pad and play the game. I'll send them to you, mate. They're decent.
I think the kids would enjoy playing them as well.
I used to have an Xbox. Well, I still have the Xbox, but I basically took out the hard drive, put the hard drive in, and I had all the emulator software on it. And I've also got this is relevant to the actual program as well, actually, because I've got in my file cabinet in my class, I've got the Super Nintendo, I've got the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, the NES. I've got all the old gaming consoles. So again, when I'm doing that particular unit in school in my class, I show the evolution of the gaming consoles, which is it's quite good. And they go, "What's that? It looks dead old, that." And obviously it is, and that's just how it started.
I've got an old iPod in my class.
I've got one as well. Anyway, so where was I? He's putting the CD into the computer and he just starts kind of playing around with it. He's kind of, you can see him kind of hatching one and he's bathing it. Would this be something that you would do? I mean, did you play The Sims? Did you do? What was your take? 'Cause I remember being, a particular age, and I played games like The Sims. I played like Roller Coaster Tycoon and all these kind of virtual games that you would have to, build and make things and destroy things to, you know what I mean? What was your take on it? Did you play games like this?
Not like massively, but a wee bit. Like I do remember playing The Sims a wee bit, and there was another game that's just triggered something just in my memory. It was I can't remember much about it apart from it had, like worms in it. I don't know if you know the game I mean.
Was that a game called Worms?
That was maybe what it was. It's not something I would play nowadays. I feel like it's more of a young person's game. I just don't think I'd have the time to sit and curate the stuff. But yeah, I did love my Tamagotchis back in the day. And in terms of making things, that Simpsons game was relevant. The Cartoon Maker, like slightly different, but I think they still exist. Like kids nowadays love it's like Grow Gardens, the popular one now, and Minecraft's I suppose a similar idea. So I think they were popular and still are popular, but not something I would have a lot of time for though.
There's a game called Animal Farm and all, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something similar now, but I don't know if
You ever seen Goat Simulator?
No.
Funny.
I've not seen that. Excuse me. So you can see that he's he's losing days to these. You can see that he's interested. Things start to suffer, but then we get the arrival of Lump.
What a name!
I know. So we get arrival of Lump. He kind of.
This is a good moment just to put in another quote I liked. One of either the psychologist or the copper said, what would his mum call him? And then he goes, I don't know, I've never met his mum.
I know. It's actually good. At the start of the episode, so I should have said, Cameron and the older Cameron, Peter Capaldi, he goes, I wasn't always this confident. And you can see he is confident. He's more outgoing and whatever because he's learned from different things. And then looking back at the younger Cameron, he wasn't like that at all. But you can see his progression, his character, getting stronger by listening to different things. The Thonglets, I should say.
And I can't remember if it was this bit or earlier, but there's obviously the reason he's pulled out of the police station is because there was like a body that turned up in a bag.
A suitcase.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. I should have said as well before this, the two coppers that arrested him go to his house or his flat, and you walk into the room, and it's got a screen with a tea towel over it. It looks like.
Yeah.
And then we've got loads of computer equipment. Like it's beside the computer. It's on the side. It's on the top. It's all round. It almost looks like a spaceship type thing because all the hardware they've got.
Why did they keep covering the screen? Was it just so other people wouldn't engage with the throng, or was it?
Well, that was interesting because I wondered this myself. I watched it again, and I don't know if it's just learned behaviour, right? Because Rittman had a towel over it as well in Microsoft, and he said something about camouflage at that point. So I wondered maybe it was maybe he had it there because he didn't want anyone to interact with it, or he didn't want the Thronglets to see what was happening on the outside. I don't know.
Maybe a bit like a mother protecting their young as well.
Aye, that's what it became, really, wasn't it? So we get Lump who comes in. We don't really know his name other than Lump. But he's a guy who he prides on vulnerability. You can see that he needs to play to stay, and he uses him. He's asking him. I found this interesting as well. Quite a good choice of a book to use. He brought out a copy of the Clockwork Orange, and inside the Clockwork Orange there was drugs inside, and that's where the experiment of the LSD acid kind of came to fruition. Obviously, the Clockwork Orange is kind of drugs and about ultra violence and things, which was a foreshadowing of what happens to Lump.
I've still not watched that, but I'm pretty sure I suggested it as an option for our review once.
He did, mate. He just didn't win. Didn't win. So this maybe something you can bring up again if we come up with a thematic month.
The one that got away.
Aye. So you can see that he's connecting with Lump here. He's got the LSD and he's playing computer games, most notably Street Fighter 2, which is a great game, by the way. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, what a game. And then as the night goes on, he's out his mind, and he goes to the computer, and all of a sudden we've got this light bulb moment where he can understand the throng because he's got the LSD in his system, and all of a sudden he can communicate with them, and he's learning, they're learning, he can decipher the language. It was interesting. What's your take on that? The fact that he obviously he basically he listened himself to using the drugs, but then at the same time he was playing the computer games. He was using that escapism as he was talking about at the start of the episode with Rittman. But then suddenly he could become an addict essentially. After the young, what was your take on that?
I did wonder how he was going. Like the way they designed the throng with our language, it was unlikely he was just going to learn it. So something had to give.
Aye.
So I wonder if, because you mentioned Colin Rittman going for his medication, did he also take similar drugs to commune with them? Is it maybe learned behavior? Is that why the throng communicate like that? Because he also took the same drugs? Or is it just a big coincidence?
I think it's a coincidence. I think that did he ask Colin what you're saying? He's like, I don't know. I mean, so, I don't know. So,
but it also shows the link between gaming and drug use, which isn't maybe those kind of drugs, but there are certain kind of drugs who are linked to people that game a lot.
Have you get the evidence to back that up, mate?
No, that's just. Well, there's lots of like it's quite a known thing, I suppose, that like people who smoke weed a lot would also game a lot. Like it's a bit of a stereotype, I suppose, isn't it?
Aye. The views of Colin there. So okay.
No statistics there, but yeah.
So at the time when this is all happening, he's like he's obviously communicating with the throng. We kind of get the voiceover from the actual kind of interrogation, and he's saying that he's lost days, weeks to the throng. He's sleeping less, he's eating less, he's not working as much. This becomes evident to the fact that he gets a phone call from his editor to say that the review of Thonglets is due out, or so it's due in that day, and he's not even done it yet.
It keeps happening and it's not intentional, but it's a wee bit like in Fight Club where he keeps going to the club and then just his day job suffering and he's not getting the work done.
That's true. Not intentionally again, but
it's so organic.
His day job is suffering, his nighttime job is thriving. So he gets a phone call. He's on the phone to his boss. He's out his mind, and he decides it's a good idea to go to work while he is high on drugs. And he says he's got to use their computer because, well, we can't use his computer because that's obviously hosting the Thronglets, and he can't get away from that.
It's a bit like Football Manager. You just get addicted to it and you can't get it off of it.
Oh, listen, me and my mate back in the day used to just play Football Manager like on the network, and honestly, like, before I knew it, it was like 5 a.m, and we'd
I
only
used
play.
to play it before school in the morning.
Honestly,
Suit on.
oh,
Suiting
did you
up
wear
for
a
the
suit?
Champions League final.
Did you wear a suit? I think you would. You're the type of guy who'd wear a suit.
Do you know I actually once got Scotland to a European Championship and World Cup final with Chris Boyd as a lone striker?
Did you?
I lost both finals, but I got them to the final of each.
We always went in the Spanish league, so we couldn't. The rules were we could go any team in the Spanish league. We couldn't go Real Madrid or Barcelona, and we would just take them from the. So I was Atletico Madrid, and my mate was Sevilla. Aye, we've got anyway.
There's a new, just before we move on, there's a new trailer for the new Football Manager, and the game engine has changed significantly.
Because they didn't last year. They didn't put out, didn't they? Because there's something.
No, they postponed it. I'm very tempted to get back into it, to be honest.
It's a bad
But
idea.
it's a mind. I've got one of my best pals is really into it, and we often chat about getting into it, but we both know it's a slippery slope.
Nah, aye, work with stuff a big time, man. Aye, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Anyway, back to this. So we get. So it's a good idea. It's a bad idea, but he thought it was a good idea to go to work. Out his face. As he goes out the door, lump arrives back in. He's like, "Oh, you can't believe you're going to work like that." He goes, "I have to." And he rides the underground, the subway, and he's obviously tripping. You know what I mean? So you can see their faces all going, that sort of thing. And he takes out his eyes to the advertisement board on top of the train, and is that they know. So he's obviously getting paranoid. Do you know what I mean as well? Under the influence of this, he gets to work. He's typing frantically on this review. His headphones on, and then all of a sudden we find out that the game Thronglets has been destroyed. I did laugh at this one. He's like, he says Rickman claimed he saw a basilisk. And
There's your Harry Potter reference.
I know. He claimed he's seen a basilisk, and he destroyed the code and all the alpha testing with it. Obviously, not knowing he had the game.
See, going back to the subway or the train scene, taking the LSD away from it, it could also be a wee bit like what a serial gamer would experience social life like. Let's see if you're up till like the early hours of the morning playing your games, and then you're traveling to work or whatever, going to see friends or whatever. Like the lack of sleep and the exposure to the games all the time, it would probably have a bit of a similar effect. It could be a bit symbolic.
Well, it could be. The job that we're in, obviously, we deal with young people every single day, mate, and I've got no doubts, to some of the young people that we teach in our classes, are up gaming to you on time in the morning, you know what I mean? And they suffer for that as well, with the lack of sleep when they come in and have to focus on classwork. So, I mean, I've been there myself, mate. I've been like back in the day, up to especially at university. I mean, all I did was on the computer play Metal Gear Solid to whatever hours, and then had to go for a lecture at 9 o'clock, and I was
is that why I had to sign you in at all the lectures at the PGDE?
No, mate, you didn't sign you in one time, did you?
I don't think so.
No, going to sign in.
I was thinking of other friends at my undergrad.
Yeah. I'm going to lie, I think I did get signed in a couple of times after a few people in undergrad.
Big Lee.
No, undergrad.
Okay.
So I went to the union or the pub or something like that, just going to sign us in, and I'll catch your notes on the
learning and teaching wasn't engaging enough.
Well, lectures could be boring, mate. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they could be. Anyway, we've digressed a lot till today. So
it's because there's so much There's so many tangents available because of the gaming and the technology.
And if there's a tangent available, you bet your backside that you'll take it. So it gets told that that the game is now the game that they thought was a game is now not happening. There's no need to review it. So as he finds that out, he's right back. He leaves the computer on and bails. The guy, I can't remember the guy's name now. I should have maybe wrote that down, didn't they? But they looking at the screen. It wasn't the review he was writing. It was like, I kind of deem this to look like kind of ASCII art, where it's a different language completely. You know what I mean? He's typing.
American Standard something information interchange.
Yep, American Standard Code for Information Interchange.
Just so rung a bell somewhere.
So it's just like it just look like ASCII art, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? If you type up ASCII art, you'll see that. So he goes back to his house, his flat, and then he's here. But before that, as this happens as well, we can see Lump playing Road Rash. Did you ever play Road Rash?
Sorry, I've got someone shouting in the background now.
That's all right. Are we good?
Yeah, you could repeat.
I say we see kind of Cameron coming back to the office, coming back to his house. We see Lump playing a computer game called Road Rash. That was on the Sega Mega Drive, and he's looking for a lighter. And he goes into the toilet car, and he starts setting them all on fire. So he thinks it's just a game where he can just start killing them all. Cameron comes back in, sees what he's doing, and then goes berserk. So he throws an ashtray at his face, and basically that was a pretty graphic scene, I thought. His mouth's all blood, and you can see that he's kind of, I think some of his teeth are hanging off.
It's quite a violent episode, all in.
Aye, and it's like it's also a Barney. It's happening, and eventually it comes to the scene where he murders Lump. Now, as this is happening, you can see the thermometers from the computer looking at this. So they're kind of seeing what's happening, what humans are like. Interesting, I thought as well that Lump's choice of computer games kind of reflected him. He chose violence of Street Fighter. He chose the violence of Road Rash as well. And again, it just reflected his character of a characteristic of human behaviour and how to make it better. But obviously, Cameron did that as well by killing, and he said as much he wanted to go back and basically be that person for them. What's your take on the whole Lump thing and him getting killed?
I think Cameron didn't really come across as violent prior to this. I think it's his obsession and exposure to the game and his excessive drug use as well. So I didn't think he seemed particularly violent before that.
Aye. But it just shows you, like he cared for those Thronglets like a child. Do you know what I mean? Like he watched them grow. You know what I mean? He became obsessed with it. He became like a protective mate. At the end of the day, and if somebody's going to harm the Thronglets, harm their child, it's that kind of mother instincts. Do you know what I mean? To
yeah.
So that was my take it, and then it kind of says this in the episode that it kind of reflects the caveman. The kind of caveman instincts of kill or be killed type thing. So obviously you're an attachment as well. So
there's a quote I wrote down from older Cameron: "We're still savages, heads full of the same." I can't read that word. But basically, that people still have those basic instincts from like the kind of origins of humankind. Darwinian 1.0 is what he called it.
Aye. So after he obviously he says what happened, we cut back to the interrogation room. We kind of see like him cutting the body up, Like, I thought it was just something out of Dexter, to be honest with you. Like, he's just cutting the body up and firing into it. That's the case, do you know what I mean? And again, calm and collected as well, do you know what I mean? He just kind of walks out with it and all the rest of it. And so he's basically admitted to him what's happened, what's done, right? He's got an end goal, Cameron. He knows what he's going to do, but he's just setting the scene. So he says, like, you know, you're here. Why didn't you kind of admit to it? Why didn't you tell me at the time? He's got questions like, you know, who would look after the throng? And he went to see the throng thrive. And as this is saying all this sort of stuff, we can see the montage of him buying all the computer consoles. So he buys
I like that bit, yeah.
the Dreamcast, the Nintendo 64, there's the PlayStation, he buys iPhones. And as the kind of the swapping of the console and things over the desk, that's where we see the SIM sticker. So there's a SIM sticker stuck to the desk.
Yeah, it's a clever way to show the years passing, because he started off in the 80s, didn't he? And then comes forward to like the future to us.
Aye. It just shows the expansion.
That's a wee clip you should show your class when you're doing your video game history.
I know I could, but then it's I've got the computers in the classroom anyway. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't be showing that in the classroom. Too graphic.
No, I don't think that's particular scene of anything graphic.
It's like a 30-second montage. I don't think it'd be worth it. Anyway, he buys all the computers, how tech's evolved. He talks about how the outside world didn't matter. It's only he's got friends, and their friends are the intelligence of the thronglets. He's helping them expand by increasing the memory, the amount of storage for them all. He talks to them through strings of data, which I thought was quite good as well. We get Minter, who asked him, "Can you tell me what they say?" And he just kind of smirks back and says, "Well, not with great coherence with the language you speak." That was the quote he said.
So it's like Cameron's transcended humankind with the connection he has. That he's better than the average human.
Well, that's evident because he talks about the home surgery that he makes himself. So kind of plug and play. So this is a kind of link to Playtest episode where they've got the kind of socket at the back of their head and they can plug them into the game. But he's done this himself. He's plugged himself into the thronglets can use his brain as the processor to then kind of study the mind. So it's symbiotic coexistence is what he says, and he's part of the collective. So he's already kind of he's talking kind of riddles to them, but tell them what he hears. And we know that anyway because now that we know what the thronglets sound like. We hear as we kind of think back to the first kind of scene where he walks into the shop with the headphones on. That's what we hear. We hear that noise of the thronglets. Right. Because
I haven't watched it a second time, I didn't catch it.
No, that's all right. And then he's still asking for this pen and paper.
He's a bit like a kid, isn't he?
Aye. He's like,
do colouring in.
Aye, go on, give me a pen and paper. And he elaborates more. He goes, "It's just a felt tip. I want a felt tip pen. So it's not a sharp, like it's a felt tip one. Doesn't matter." So Kano's not having it, and he gets more and more aggressive as it goes on and on. Eventually, Minter talks to him, says, "Like, just give it to him," and then so he agrees, and then he draws a QR code. And he talks about this kind of supercomputer. The central computer, and he can't penetrate the firewall from the outside, so he's got to do it from the inside. The camera scans the QR code, and then that's it. I mean, it's been breached. He stands up, and he basically knows his mission's complete. And at this point in time, he's telling them what's going to happen. Embrace it. Embrace the takeover. It's going to be a better life for humans and all the rest of it.
I think that's what the Rangers new owner said as well.
And Russell Martin we trust, not. As it happens, the computer, laptop, the phones all kind of die and as if they're rebooting themselves. And this is where Kano, he stands up and he slaps and punches Cameron. But which represents the worst of humanity, because it's just like it's the aggressor. And then this is before I go into the. Oh, no, I'll just go into the whole, because I know we're kind of running out of time here. As he's punching Cameron, the signal goes. It's this kind of deafening. It's obviously it's a thong, but it's really unnerving, that sound, isn't it? What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was quite a intense end to the episode with the something like that happening to all your tech. It was very, very Black Mirror, but it would also be quite alarming. It's like that thing we're going to have, is it tomorrow? That that thing the government sends, like a foghorn. Is that not happening tomorrow?
Is that?
Maybe tomorrow. I don't know if it's tomorrow, but it's
How do you know that?
I just seen it on the news somewhere or on social media.
That was it.
They tested it last year. You might remember.
Well, I got one. I'm sure I got one.
Yeah.
So we got a red warning for the wind and all that.
I'm
pretty sure I got one then.
I think they just test it now and again, but it kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, the sound and the violence and the kind of loading screen on the phones, it was quite an intense few minutes.
Aye. I just didn't. I turned down my TV at that point, because I was seen it the second time, and I turned it down. It's just that it's a very unnerving sound. You know what I mean? It's just that. And then as it happens, you can see that the eyeballs kind of like going back in their heads. It's just the whites of their eyes, they fall to the ground. The camera pans out kind of to London, or it pans out from the room to the station to out of London, and you can see the people lying on the pavements and on the roads, because obviously that's what the sound has done to them. That's the throng is the upgrade, is the software update, shall we say, has taken place.
Do you think we'll see a sequel to this one to see how people are actually affected, or do you think it'll just be left as a ambiguous ending?
Well, on to the ending then. So it's kind of what happens is the sound stops and we get Cameron. The dog just went crazy there.
At least they waited to the end.
Right down 106.
Nah, just ride the wave.
Okay.
We're almost there.
Nice. Somebody walking past my house. Where was I? So basically what happens, Cameron, we are kind of looking from above, as if we're Kano, and he basically goes over him and kind of hands out a hand to kind of help him upright, and it just cuts to black, face to black, and then the music plays. So it's ambiguous in terms of will we ever see the upgrade taking place, or what? What did you think of the ending?
Very abrupt, but I think it worked.
Aye,
because I think sometimes just fading to black is a better way, because it kind of leaves the audience wanting more. Because I'd be quite open to a future sequel to this, because they started doing that with USS Callister and a few other things.
Aye, no, I think I would like a sequel as well, mate, to be honest with you. Obviously, the nature of how ambiguous it is, I like it anyway, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't think I would have liked to have seen it here. I think it was quite good to leave it at this point. But then, maybe again, in the future of what it looks like, to see how it has maybe got better.
I don't think Paul would want a sequel.
No, we're going to come on to that in a minute then. Yeah, so that's us done then. So, Plaything, episode 4 of season 7 of Black Mirror.
2 more to go.
2 more to go, buddy, aye. And that's us finished the Black Mirror sideshow.
I've enjoyed doing it this way, because normally I would have just watched it myself, but we've actually we've went through it together, which has been an interesting experience.
Aye, like I say, I've just watched, I'd probably binge watch them, but just how busy I am, and just doing it for the podcast. I mean, if I can watch it twice, I'll watch it twice. But I'm
up next in a couple of weeks with the second last episode, Eulogy, An isolated man is introduced to a groundbreaking system that allows users to step inside old photos, stirring powerful emotions in the process, which sounds quite interesting.
Sounds very Hotel Reverie, doesn't it? Like if they could step inside films and then we've got a photo.
I think this has been a pretty strong season. Personally,
Well, but if you discount Bet Noir, I think.
I think that had a good premise and some good parts. I think it had the ending was probably the downside, but I think Common People, Hotel Reverie, and Plaything have been pretty strong.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And we've got USS Callister Into Infinity, the sequel to come as well.
Yep.
I might actually, if I get a chance, watch the first USS Callister just as a lead-in.
Yeah. If I had enough time, mate, I'd have done the socials, but time is something I don't really have in abundance at the moment. So I didn't do any socials, so there's no data
Comment
comment.
from Paul, though.
Well, we did get a comment from Paul. Paul is the third man. That's a reference to the WCW days, mate, of wrestling. The third man was Hulk Hogan.
Your wrestling comments are worthless here.
So Paul, well, if I remember what he said, Paul didn't like this episode. He thought it was boring. He said that the twist was obvious and you could see it.
What was the twist he was referencing? Like the like him taking over, like spreading the virus, essentially.
Aye.
Oh, talk about twist. Are you still watching Inside Number 9?
No, I'll not watch it for a while, mate. No, I'll go back to it, mate. I'll go back to it.
Cool.
So that was Paul's views. I don't know what score he gave it. So that's fair dues, Paul. Each to their own, I suppose. But Colin, what are you going to give it out of 10?
I think I would give this a 7.5.
Aye, good. Aye. Strong episode.
I think, yeah, I wasn't sure of it. I understand it, but see, like when you don't quite know what's happening, see the actual game, quote unquote, itself. It's just a bit like seems a bit silly at first, but then obviously as you understand what's happening, I felt like it was an episode that got stronger as it went on.
Aye, that's the opposite of Paul. Paul said it got boring as it went on. But again, I agree with you, mate. I was swaying between an 8 and 9. You go on with swaying. But I'm going to stick my gut and say 8.
I feel like it's a really good episode of Black Mirror, but I still don't feel like it's as good as some of like the like best ones of all time.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't the best. No, but it was certainly good. I don't know. I like the whole. I'm obviously biased to this. I mean, like I like the whole kind of game consoles and computing references and all that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I maybe got a bias towards that. But I think the premise of the whole thing, we can relate to it because we experienced the Tamagotchis, we experienced Lemmings, we experienced the Sims. You know, all these things that did exist, we experienced them.
Yeah.
And for AI to take over that and use it as a platform to expand was brilliant. And all they needed was a vehicle being Cameron to do that. So it was a well thought of episode.
Kind of reminds me a wee bit of Jurassic Park as well, how they breeded the dinosaurs, but they then didn't realize that they could breed because they thought they'd put everything in place to stop it, but then it just started growing exponentially. Kind of came into my head a wee bit as well.
Frog DNA or something I had into it, like
Yeah.
they could change it. Yeah. One thing I didn't do, mate, was say the IMDb score. So IMDb gave us a 7.1.
Yeah, which is kind of in keeping with what I've said.
Rotten Tomatoes. You also see I'm very prepared for this. Rotten Tomatoes gave it if I can get the stupid advert, 57%. So I don't know, man.
Mixed, but mixed.
It's mixed. But again, we don't have to agree with the critics or what other people say, but it's up to our own selves at the end of the day, mate. Do you know what I mean? We don't have to be sheep and follow the crowd or the herd.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So it's me doing the film review. So I'm going to give you 3 synopsis, and I want you to guess what they are.
Okay. I
Alright.
probably won't, but we'll go for it.
Right, okay. So the first one is the grizzled tank commander makes tough decisions as he is. Is it all right there, man?
There's just a door closing.
Right. I'll
Do that
start
one
again.
again.
Start again. A grizzled tank commander makes tough decisions as he and his crew fight their way across Germany in April of 1945.
Is it a Tarantino film?
No,
No, I don't know them.
it is Fury.
Fury. I've heard of it. Yeah.
Second one. A pragmatic US Marine observes the dehumanization effects of the Vietnam War has gone on his fellow recruitments from the brutal boot camp experiences of the bloody street fighting in Hue. I think that's how you say it. Hue.
Not sure. Go.
That is Full Metal Jacket.
I think
And
I've heard of that.
You've never heard it, no?
I think I've heard of it.
No, you have. Last one might be a lot easier for you, mate. Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle, pinpoint accuracy, saves countless lives on the battlefield and turns him into a legend. Back home with his family after 4 tours of duty, Chris finds that this war he can't leave behind. Easy for me to say.
Is it American Sniper?
Correct.
I've heard of it. I've not seen any of them, but I've heard of that one.
That's a war film.
I think the only war film we've done was Saving Private Ryan back in the day.
Oh, I must have been before my time, mate. I've not done that.
It was, yeah.
Fair dude. Okay.
Which was a good one.
I'll stick them on the socials, and then we'll get the people to vote for them.
Hopefully they're easily accessible.
I've got no idea, mate.
I'll have a look.
I've got no idea, buddy. Right, we'll wrap up there, buddy. Anything you want to add before we?
Just to... No, not really. Just help us on our way to 225 subs. So if you've enjoyed this episode, enjoyed our Black Mirror series, and if you've got any other series you'd like us to do a similar kind of episode by episode review, not something massively long, it has to be a kind of shorter series, but Ted Lasso will be fun.
Aye.
Even though you've already seen it, but just an idea.
Right, okay. So thanks for everybody for subscribing. All the rest of it again, just a wee bit before we do go. That's where you can follow us: Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Facebook. If you can, give us a wee comment on YouTube. You can do it at Spotify as well. Give us a like and a subscribe. It does boost the algorithms to show on other people's profiles to increase that algorithm, and that would be great. And thanks for listening, folks. So I'm James. I probably wrote an essay on it. Paul has watched every single Black Mirror episode in the wrong order, starting from season 7 to season 1. And Colin,
I've seen it.
I've
not seen it.
Thanks for listening.